can you build on Kevin from last week? He had some success there.
Yeah, I thought, like last 2 weeks especially, you've seen signs of what we can and be like. So we just got to keep building on the positives. I think we like the things we got to get adjusted and fixed. We got to come out in the second half, and we got to play better in the second half. And give ourselves a chance to win the games. We've got guys in positions, and we got to put them in better positions at times to get them to where we can go out and execute the call 100% of the time.
What's your assessment of the moving Thieneman closer to the ball, that big schematic change last week?
Yeah, I think he's a good football player. So wherever you put him, I think he's going to make plays. But I think just with certain personnel issues that we have, I thought that where are we going to influence the most where Dylan can make the most success and have the biggest effect on the game. It was right there, and I thought he made a lot of plays there. So I'll say it's pretty good.
Was there some residual continue?
Until we get all our guys back, I think you'll see him. You'll see him bouncing around in a lot of different places.
Was there sort of a residual impact to that too? Because it seemed like the energy he was playing with, making plays early, was that the rest of the defense could carry forward off of that?
Absolutely.
In a way that they couldn't the previous days.
Absolutely. I think we got to find a way to get our best players around the ball the best. And if it's moving him there, if it's KJ on the edge sometimes and in the middle sometimes, I think it like everybody feeds off of that type of physicality and when they're having fun, people are playing fun, right? So we have to continue to emphasize we're building on the positives of what you've seen the last 2 weeks, and we got to continue to do so.
With third down against Nebraska, was that just a matter of you guys executing at the right time, whereas before you've been trying to do that for a while?
Yeah, no, I think guys executed, and we got to get more third downs. That's what we need to get to, So we did a fair job on third downs against Nebraska, and now obviously we go to Wisconsin, and looking at our game last year, that was an area that we didn't do great on last year. So we have to get them to third and long situations, and then we have to be able to get off the field.
You gave him a lot of free 15s on Saturday. Is that something that's easily correctable? Obviously the mental thing.
Sure, I think we're an aggressive defense by nature, so some of the pass interferences, or some of them are there, some of them we'll live with that. We play aggressive, so we got to coach up the technique a little bit better on certain aspects. But the face mask, that's an effort play. It's going to happen. It's a combat. But the unsportsmanlike, we can't have those. Those are the ones. That's a third down and 4, and all of a sudden it's an automatic first down going, and then they score that drive. That one, who knows what would happen on 3rd and 4 there? So, the post snap and pre snap penalties, we got to eliminate, and we're going to have combat penalties. We just got to limit them.
Did you play more zone defense Saturday?
Probably. I don't know the exact number of it, but I would say so.
You think that's just a function of who you're playing, or something you're going to continue to do regardless of who you're playing?
I think we have to be able to adapt and adjust to what we got to see and do. I think we've been so man heavy these first few games. I think that the ability to mix in some zones and confuse quarterbacks, that's what this defense is about. We have to allow that guy to make decisions post snap, and if he knows pre snap what's going on, then he can make decisions and make the throws he wants to, or run the ball where he wants to. So if we can change the pictures post snap on the guys, it'll help us out.
How important was it to have Nylan out there? I know we got the 3 PIs, but he hasn't played a football game in a long time.
That's great, man. He's here for a reason. We think he can help us and have a big impact on the game, and he brings a certain swagger and a certain demeanor to the field that he comes from winning programs, and he knows what it is, and that's what we expect him to do.
You're kind of walking a tightrope a little bit sometimes at corner, right? Between being aggressive and being overly aggressive, how does he stay on the right side of that? Is some of that just getting more game reps after?
I think so. He hadn't practiced really since August, early August for that matter. So he's just getting his feet underneath him a little bit, and some of those I wouldn't change anything. He's looking for the ball. They're both pushing off each other. That's just a judgment call, and we'll live with those. But the ones where he's early or something like that, yeah, he's got to get his training wheels off.
Gus said the offense huddled more, last week, and do you think that helped the defense catch their breath a little bit?
Absolutely. The time of possession was balanced, and I thought we were fresher. Therefore, we were able to play harder, longer. So I think complementary football is something that, with the headsets and everything, the coach-to-player communication, it's even more important now. Offenses got to realize what's going on defensively, offensively. We got to know what's going on with the offense. So I think it's balanced. Balanced football is where I see our conference really rolling.
Do you have an impression yet of how Jason Simmons thinks football, thinks offense, applies offense?
I think getting around him. First off, he's a great human being, and he's been a very successful head coach, you know, here in the state of Indiana, high school, and he has a certain work ethic and demeanor about him that it's kind of old school, no nonsense. So I would imagine that's going to carry over to what he did. You know, he had a lot of success as a high school coach, winning state championships and doing things like that. And in that nature, he called all those plays, and now he's just going to have to do it at this level. So I'm excited for him. I think he's excited for the challenge, and obviously, you know, I mean, he's going to do whatever he can to help this program.
Do you think we'll still see a lot of KJ at rush end? You use him pretty liberally there.
Yeah, I think based on what we're seeing offensively, you could see him in a lot of different spots, you know. And you saw him this past game on the edge and back in the middle. So, yeah, whatever the offense is giving us, we're going to put KJ in the best spot to make his plays. And he did both at both positions this past weekend.
Is the next step in improvement 4 quarters? Seems like you got 3 quarters.
Absolutely. We have to. We talked to our guys this morning, and like we have to learn how to handle the success first. Like we gained success, right? Our first 2 quarters of the last 2 games, and now we got to get out of halftime and come out, and it's 0-0 again, right? So we got to start fast on defense, obviously, and then we got to learn how to finish and keep your foot down the throats.
Are you tired, Kevin, hearing how Drew doesn't have a takeaway?
Yeah. I've heard it once. We did block 2 kicks, so you know, so I was happy about that. But no, we got to, like I said, we emphasize it. You know, we practice it. So you just pray that, you know, practice becomes permanent. And on the game time, you see guys on film punching at the ball. So like, they're not trying to get the football, you know. And I think little things along the way, looking back for the balls, we can get. There's a couple of interceptions that I thought we could have had if we just looked for the ball, you know. And we're going to keep punching at it, but you know, it's obviously a point of emphasis from us coaches to the players, and we just got to get it on the ball on the ground or in the air.
Coach Simmons has spent 23 years in high school football. What kinds of perspectives does that give him?
Oh, I think it's a world of knowledge. You know, some of the best coaches in the world are your high school coaches. You know, I played for a guy, legendary USA Today Hall of Fame coach, Tony Severino, that I learned the most from him probably than any coach I've ever played for or you know, worked for. It's just simple things where they have a certain perspective on young people, right? That college kids are still young people, and they help develop young people. So I'm anxious to see how he already had a great connection with our offensive players, how he gets around them and has a rapport with them. So how he carries that over to calling the plays will be fun to watch.
Any impressions of what Wisconsin's going to throw at you guys on Saturday? Because it seems like they're in a place where still a foundation of what they've always been, but maybe a transition into something new still.
Yeah, you know, I think you go back and watch our game last year. I think they're going to try to be Wisconsin of old. They're going to try to run the ball, you know, and they got the big backs that are still there. You know, number 1, number 3 are big physical backs that are going to get downhill, and they're going to see if they can win the line of scrimmage and then play action and do some other things. You know, so you know that's what we're anticipating. And shoot, let's go.